What up, sports peeps and fellow foodies? I'm Julie, and welcome to my kitchen, where each week I talk sports while whipping up culinary creations. I tell you guys each week that it's not always all about the Bears, that I do watch the Bulls, Blackhawks, college football, college basketball, the rest of the NFL, but the Bears give me so much material every week that we're going to go back to the Bears again today. And there's a couple special tie-ins I'm going to mention as well. But these Bears, with another frantic finish, they come up with a 1917 win, their first division win of the season. They beat the Vikings, and another rally for Caleb Williams. All right, so I mentioned, little tie-in for me. This is the OG. This is my dad's Bears beanie from the 70s, 80s. My dad used to wear this all the time when he was taking the train down to his office downtown every day. And this past week marked 35 years since we lost my dad. He and my mom raised us as Bears fans, took us to games, took us to training camp. So big shout out to my dad, who is a huge part of why I'm where I am today. So wearing the Bears beanie for Dad and channeling all his Bears emotions. He would have been losing his mind at the end of this game today, like we probably all were watching it. So the Bears, as of right now, with the Lions falling tonight to the Eagles, the Bears in sole possession of first place in the division. They're sitting there at 7-3, 5 comeback wins, end of the fourth quarter for Caleb Williams this year. And he is known as the Iceman now. That's become his nickname. He embraces it, he likes it. I like it, I think it's pretty cool. But Iceman, Caleb Williams, I am making pie tonight because I am eating humble pie. I'm ashamed to say it, but when Caleb Williams came out of USC, I didn't know if he had the mental fortitude to be an NFL quarterback. I'm so sorry, Caleb. I'm so sorry. I honestly thought from when he cried when USC lost to Washington that maybe he just didn't have that toughness. I am so ashamed to say that. Caleb, I have been on your bandwagon all season, loving every one of these drives. And I'm admitting it here right now. I know Caleb doesn't watch these, but if it gets back to him, Caleb, I'm so sorry I doubted you. You are cool as a cucumber in the fourth quarter. You love it. You love that your team is relying on you. And I love that you're our quarterback. So anyway, making humble pie tonight. I was going to make something like a chicken pot pie, but because he's the Iceman, we're going to make a frozen pie instead. So we're going to do a chocolate raspberry icebox pie. And this is going to be so yummy, and you can bring this to holiday get-togethers this year. Perfect to bring for company. I'm going to take this and use a tin pie pan instead of a glass or a metal one that you want to get back from your relative's house. This way they can just put it in the recycling bin when you're done. All right, so what I have here, we're going to call them chocolate sandwich cookies. Technically, everyone calls them Oreos, like we call a copy machine a Xerox machine. But any sandwich cookie works. It could be the generic brand, the store generic brand. Just make sure it's the regular filled, not the double stuff, and not the thins, which I just don't understand. You people who like the thins, I don't know if we can be friends. The more filling, the better, but in this case, you just want the regular amount of filling. And you're not gonna take the cookies off and get rid of the filling. You want that filling for the fat content. So the regular ones work perfect. That's what we're gonna use today. I crushed up 24 of them, and incidentally, one of these sleeves is about 12. So I crushed up 24. I did them in my food processor. I measured it. It's about 2 cups, so that if you're buying them in the store, you can buy the pre-made crumbs. If you're buying them in the store, you just know to measure about 2 cups out. And again, we've got that fat content from the filling, and I'm gonna add to that 4 tablespoons, which is half a stick, of melted butter. And butter makes everything better. We say that in the kitchen all the time. I am just gonna take my fingers and get nice and messy in here. So what I got here, it's beautiful, it smells amazing, and you've got just enough moisture from your butter to make it stick together. So then I'm gonna take our pie pan right here, dump all this in. You can put a light coating of pan spray on your pan if you want. But between the butter and the filling fat, it's not gonna stick. You'll be okay. So I'm gonna smoosh it down a little bit in the center, kind of working it out to the sides. This will work for any pie you wanna make. where you want an Oreo crust. And it will also work if you want to use this for cheesecakes. I mean, come on. Oreos and butter, does it get better than that? All right, so what I've got here is, I've got my base kind of pushed down and I've got a little bit around the sides. But now this will be the fun and tricky part. So if you see what I'm doing here, I'm gonna press with one hand and I'm gonna use my thumb to guide the other way. So I'm pushing like this and I'm just smushing my thumb up against the edge there. So I get a nice even crust. It's gonna be level at the top. And as I'm working it around, if I get a few crumbs on the outside, we're gonna clean those up, no worry. All right, so we've got the edge done. And now I'm just gonna finish this middle part right here. And if you wanna make it a little more firm, if you want it to set in there a little bit more, you can use something like a measuring cup or even a drinking glass. Press it down kind of in that crease there where the side meets the bottom. And just like that, that took us, what, like 45 seconds, maybe a minute? You have a crust that's ready to go. And you don't have to do anything with this. You don't have to bake it. You don't have to throw it in the freezer. Here's me cleaning off my crumbs. And that is ready to go. If you do want to throw it in the freezer, you can. Just let it hang out and chill for a little bit. So there's my crust. And then we're gonna make a filling for it using one of my KitchenAid mixers here. I love my KitchenAids. I've had one of them, I think, for at least 30 years. Don't die on me, baby. I use you all the time. What we're putting in here is one package of softened cream cheese. You want it to be soft so you don't get any lumps in there. And I like to use the full fat ones. You can use the lower fat ones. It'll just give you more of a sherbet type consistency. And I'm using 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. And we're gonna scrape all this out, get every little last bit of goo out of here. I know people who like to put this in their coffee. That might be a way I would actually drink coffee if it were that sweet. All right, so I've got that. Everything's soft. So I'm just gonna zap it a couple times here. And you can leave your cream cheese sitting out on the countertop for, I'm gonna say several hours to get nice and soft. I do that when I'm making cream cheese frosting. But this is gonna work out perfectly. That we will have just a perfect smooth mixture here. I'm gonna turn it up real quick. And we're good. All right, so we're gonna take this off. We're gonna scrape out our bowl into our pan here, our pie tin. It's getting a little messy because I didn't clean all those Oreo crumbs off, but it's okay. I don't want to bail on you guys to go wash my hands at the sink, so we'll just do this for now. All right, so here's my mixture. I am gonna scrape the sides of the bowl, pour this into our Oreo shell here, our chocolate cookie shell. Scrape it all in, and then we're just gonna kind of smooth it, push it a little bit, so that we kind of reach the edges there. I'm trying not to disrupt our crumbs too much. That is one reason you would possibly want to put it in the freezer while you're making the filling, which took us all of a minute, but it will help your crumbs set in there a little bit better. So once I've got that, we're gonna add some raspberry to the center. Now what I did is I mixed up a homemade raspberry sauce. I have berries in my freezer all the time. When berries start to get a little funky, but they're not moldy yet, throw them in the freezer. You could use them for sauces, smoothies. So these were just some raspberries I had in my freezer. I went ahead and added a little bit of raspberry syrup. This is a Polish store syrup. My grandma used to use this when we were kids. She used to put this in just a pitcher of water, so it was like Polish Kool-Aid. Or she'd put it in iced tea for us in a pitcher. Loved it. The smell of it makes me very nostalgic. But I added a little of this to my raspberries. Sweeten them up, give it the right consistency. You can also add some raspberry jam. Thing with raspberries, if you don't like the seeds, you'll either want to strain it or use a raspberry jam as your base. So what I have here, I'm just gonna pour this in no particular design or pattern, just so you're adding little splotches all over your pie. And this, by the way, is great for ice cream or even saucing plates. Then I'm gonna take just a skewer. And if you can kind of see what I'm doing here, I'm just sort of swirling it around, making sure it presses down into the mixture. And just like that, we are ready to go in the freezer. And again, that's something beautiful that you can bring for family get-togethers as we come on the holiday season here. We're gonna scooch this out of our way just a little bit. So pretend I'm putting this in the freezer. And I am taking out one that has been chilling in the freezer that I cut a slice out of already just to sample, just to make sure I liked how it tasted, how it came out. But we're gonna plate one up so you can kind of get a look-see at how it's gonna look when you're ready to dive into it. So what I did, I tried a whole bunch of different toppings to see what would work well with this. You can decorate it, garnish it any way you'd like. So what I have here, I did a chocolate frosting border on this. So that's what you see here. This little piped border is just chocolate frosting. This is a lovely product that is a chocolate raspberry ganache or fudge sauce. If you want, you can drizzle this across the top of the pie. Now mine is a little smushy. It's a little soft because it's been sitting out while we've been recording. But I'm just gonna slide this in here to lift out a slice of pie, just like that. You'll also see, because it's been sitting in the freezer, you can peel this and just pop up the slices. That's how that crust sets up beautifully with your Oreo crumbs and your butter. So that's a good easy way to get slices out when you're trying to get it plated up after Thanksgiving dinner or wherever you're serving it. All right, so one of the things I'm gonna do here, I found all sorts of really cool ideas for sauces on plates. This one is a raspberry jam. That is a Smucker's squeezable product. And I'm just gonna kinda make some little squiggles here. And then down the center, we can throw a few of our raspberries, like that. And actually, I'm gonna throw a few back here to keep this up on the plate because it wants to topple on me just a smidge. So I'm gonna bolster it, reinforcements. And then, got a little bit of whipped cream here. A little bit of whipped cream goodness. Another berry on top. And voila, we've got our beautiful white chocolate raspberry pie. The Iceman cometh. Caleb, I see you. I respect the heck out of you. I'm eating my humble pie tonight. This is gonna be so delicious as I watch all those highlights of the Lions losing and the Bears beating the Vikings. And yeah, Packers, I see you, whatever. Bears still in first place. That'll do it for tonight. Next week, the Bears play the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, I see you too. He left with a broken wrist today. Don't know how bad yet, don't know if he'll play next week, but can't hurt if the Bears don't have to face him. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I'll see you guys next week.